everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and today I have some Bob Graham picture book recommendations for you. Now, Bob Graham is a very famous Australian author illustrator. He has a very distinctive illustration style, and you'll see that as I show you these three books, and I think I did recommend Ellie's Dragon in a previous video. I wanted to share 3 more of his books, and I'll probably share another 3 at another point in time because I just adore his work. So I've tried to pick some of the ones that I use all of the time with my kids. So the first one is Rose Meets Mr. Wintergarten, and this is about Rose. She and her family have just moved into a new street and they're trying to get to know all of the neighbors, and then one day Rose accidentally kicks a ball over the fence to their next door neighbor's house, and that's where Mr. Wintergarten lives. And all of the neighborhood kids are terrified of him because the house is very dark, imposing, it has a big chain fence around it, and it looks a bit creepy, but they really want their ball back. So Rose and her mum make some cakes, and Rose goes to knock on his door and ask him for the ball back. And obviously people haven't spent a lot of time visiting with Mr. Wintergarten, so he is kind of charmed by Rose, and just the fact that she was willing to go and ask politely for something back opens up his world. And then at the very end of the book we have Mr. Wintergarten tearing down his fence and opening up his yard for the kids, and it's a beautiful celebration of, you know, being aware of the people in your community. So it's a gorgeous story. Then there is How to Heal a Broken Wing, and this one is about a young boy who is in the city with his mum. They're walking around and he spots a bird with a broken wing on the footpath. And this book is really gorgeous in the way that it tells the story both through pictures and the words, which I mean all picture books do. But in this case, we see that Will and his mum are coming up from the train station and they're walking around and everyone's walking past. But Will is this little character and he's paying attention to different things than everyone else is, and he spots the bird. What happens with a lot of Bob Graham books is he starts with small pictures and then either zooms in or zooms out. And I'm going to show you another book in a moment that does the same thing. And he uses color to show what's going on. So, you know, spotlighting the fact that Will can't leave this bird behind. Anyway, so Will and his mum, they take the bird home, they look after it, they help it get better, and then they obviously have to release it one day. So it's a very, very gorgeous story. Most of Bob Graham's books are like that. He takes these very human moments and puts them into a story that's very accessible for readers both young and old. So you can differentiate these books up, particularly in a classroom, for different age groups very easily based on your conversation. And then there is Silver Buttons, and this is another one that uses both time and also zooming in and zooming out of moments to tell the story. So this story takes place at 9:59 on a Thursday morning, and Jodie is drawing a duck and she's adding the details to her duck, and she has a little brother Jonathan. And at that very moment that she's sort of adding the final button, the final detail on her duck, Jonathan stands up and takes his first step. And then from that moment, we start zooming out. So we start very, very close. So you start very close to the action and what's happening. So we have Jonathan taking his first step. And here he is, and then we start zooming out and we see past this room where Jonathan is. So we see what their mother is doing, and then we see what's happening just outside their house. And then we zoom out again and we see what's happening in the street. And then you zoom out again and you see what's happening in their suburb. So it's really cool in the way that it takes that one moment and then expands it out, and it's everything that happens in that 1 minute. And so it's very, very cool. At a very basic level with my little kids, we just talk about this story and we talk about what happens in a moment. And then with older kids, you can obviously take this out and you can expand it even further, and it's a great mentor text for how do you take one small moment and turn it into a story. I love Bob Graham books. I reach for them all the time because he's just a master storyteller for kids. So those are my Bob Graham picture book recommendations. If you have read any of Bob Graham's work, I would love for you to let me know what your favorite book of his is. Otherwise, let me know if you're interested in picking up some of his work because he does the most gorgeous picture books. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.